I often audit my own finances, but I've never done the same for my health. I know how much I spent on healthcare last year, just over 5,000 in direct costs, and probably under 15,000 when you include indirect costs. So I know the approximate numbers, but do I know if it's working? How is my health actually? What are my risk factors? How do my results compare over time? And are the things I'm doing, for example, the gym, the sauna, the supplements, actually making a difference? Honestly, I have no idea. I feel healthy, so I never looked at my health systematically. Until recently, when I experienced a sudden death in my family. And that made me think seriously about my own health, about aging, and whether I was doing enough to protect it. Hi, I'm Ivana. I'm 34, I live in Switzerland, I work in finance, and on this channel I talk about personal finance, lifestyle, and the things I'm genuinely curious about. So welcome, I'm glad you're here, and now let's dive into today's video. We all hope to reach old age in good health, but we never really know when our time will come. Things we all know, but rarely think about in our day-to-day lives. So now you might wonder, how does this relate to personal finance, which is the topic I normally cover on this channel? Well, let me tell you. During our working years, we are on a mission. We have big goals, we have big ambitions, we want to buy the house, we want to hit the savings target, retire before everyone else. We grind, we push, and we tell ourselves we'll slow down later. And somewhere along the way, health becomes the thing we'll all deal with tomorrow. We develop bad habits to get through the day, and we skip the workout, we pour another glass of wine, we stay up too late, and we tell ourselves we're fine because we feel fine. And then we avoid the doctor because going means facing something we're not ready to face, or because it costs money we would rather spend elsewhere, or simply because there's no time. But here's the thing, later has a way of arriving sooner than you think. Seeing my father pass away at 67, I was reminded of the obvious, that without our health, nothing else matters, and that the saying, health is the biggest wealth, is entirely true. Our health is not a given, and all the money we've accumulated won't help us if we neglect our bodies and minds for too long. And neglect is exactly what leads to chronic diseases. They don't just show up one day out of nowhere, okay? They start developing at a young age. So how does this chronic disease develop? And when does it start? Let's look at the data. The most common ones today are cardiovascular disease, stroke, cancer, type 2 diabetes, and Alzheimer's disease. These diseases develop silently over decades. So by the time we get a diagnosis, the process has often been underway for 10, 15, or sometimes even 20 years. It's worth knowing that most of these diseases share the same root causes, which is poor diet, physical inactivity, smoking, alcohol, chronic stress, poor sleep, and increasingly environmental factors like air pollution and toxic exposure. Of course, genetics is the one factor we can't change. But diet, movement, sleep, and stress management, those are all within our power. So this is why I decided to take things into my own hands and take control of my health as much as I can. So here's what I'll be doing. First, I'm going to review every health check I've done in the last 2 years. I'm going to make a list with dates of those checks performed so that I have a clear overview. Second, I'm going to gather all my medical results in one place because right now they're scattered across different doctors, different years, some on paper, some digital. I want one clear picture of where I stand. And third, I'm reviewing all my healthcare expenses for the last 2 years. Every premium, every bill, every out-of-pocket cost. I want to know exactly what I'm spending on my health and whether I'm getting value for it. And fourth, I'm making a list of everything I should be testing. What screenings, blood work, checkups, based on my age and family history. So I don't want to test just the basics, okay? I want to go deeper, like for example, to do a DEXA scan to see my body composition. I want to do different cancer screenings and proper cardiovascular workup. Lung function, and inflammation markers. I want to know what's actually going on under the hood. That's what the next few videos will be about. But first, here's my honest self-assessment. So overall, I would say that I feel quite healthy and strong, thank God. And I think I'm doing many things right. But for sure, there are things I should definitely do better. But let me first start with the things I'm doing well, okay? So first and foremost, at the end of 2025, I lost a significant amount of weight. I left my previous job and was on garden leave for about 3.5 months. And I finally had time to relax, to cook at home, and be more physically active. I should also say that I now live in a beautiful area at the foot of the mountain with a hiking path directly from my apartment to the top. So when I was on garden leave, I walked and hiked almost every day while the weather allowed it. Once I got back to work, I couldn't be outside as much, but I got back to the gym. And every day when I don't have lunch appointments with clients, I bring my gym bag to work and lift weights for at least 60 minutes. I definitely rebuilt my muscle mass, and for the first time in my life, my six-pack is showing. Next, I eat almost entirely unprocessed food because I cook at home or I buy a healthy lunch at work. I tend to eat very high protein, around 2 grams per kilogram of body weight. So most days I have protein porridge for breakfast. I have cottage cheese and a banana before my workout. For lunch, I have a poke bowl or something similar, a salad. And then as an afternoon snack, I have another cottage cheese and some crackers or another banana. And then usually for dinner, I have beef or chicken with potato for some carbs and vegetables. Luckily, I don't smoke, although I did as a young adult for many years. Nowadays, cigarette smoke makes me feel sick. Next, I should say that I am a sauna addict, okay? So before, I was already a regular sauna user and I would go to sauna after my strength training, so at lunchtime. But last year, I bought a sauna and installed it on my terrace. And I've become absolutely addicted, okay? I use it almost every day and it's part of my evening routine, okay? So I turn it on while I'm on my way home and hop in as soon as I get back. Usually 15 to 20 minutes at around 85 to 90 degrees Celsius. And in winter, I often do 2 sessions. I also do red light therapy regularly. I bought a small panel 2 years ago and have been using it ever since. Red light stimulates cellular energy production, reduces inflammation, and speeds up muscle recovery, and also improves sleep and mood. I'm now considering buying a bigger panel for full body sessions. I just love it. Next, I take a basic supplement stack daily. I take fish oil, vitamin D3 and K2, magnesium, B-complex, and curcumin with piperine. I do basic blood work once or twice a year and almost everything comes back within normal range. I rarely get sick, and in the last 2 years I've done a few major checkups, all of which came back good. Alright, so these are the things which I'm doing right, but how about those things which I know I'm not doing well? Okay? So first and foremost, my stress levels are very high, okay? And they are mostly related to work. However, work is part of life, so that is inevitable. And I'm trying to find ways how to manage stress. In terms of vices, I don't eat sugar. And as I said before, I don't smoke, but I do drink a lot of wine, especially since recently. Until a year or 2 ago, I wasn't a big wine drinker, but I got interested in wines and I discovered some really good ones and got excited to explore more. Obviously, I'm aware that alcohol is one of the leading causes of cancer and it contains unnecessary calories on top of that. So I'm trying to find a balance. Next, I most definitely don't eat enough fish, though I take an omega-3 supplement. And for sure, I know I should eat more vegetables. I probably eat way too much meat. Next, I should definitely walk more, although I'm trying. I'm walking every day from the train station to my office and back, and sometimes I'm walking also to the gym at lunchtime, so I do the same route 4 times in one day, back and forward. But that still doesn't add up to exactly 10,000 steps. It's probably around 6,000 per day. And definitely, especially in winter, I don't spend enough time outside in natural sunlight. The next thing I don't do right is that I drink cola a few times a month, okay? I don't drink any other soda, but sometimes when I eat burgers or something similar, then I like to drink a glass of Coca-Cola. And I have to admit that I eat a lot of food packaged in plastic. I'm not proud of this, and this is mostly the consequence of the lack of time. So if I don't have time to cook at home, then I will buy something outside, when I'm at work. And as well, I mentioned that I eat a lot of cottage cheese, and unfortunately, that is all packaged in plastic containers. Next thing that I know I don't do right is that I use a wide range of personal care products for hair, body, makeup, perfume, many of which likely contain certain ingredients which are not so healthy, but to be honest, I've never really looked into that. And finally, maybe the biggest issue that I have right now is that I don't track my results, so the results of the checkups that I'm doing over time, okay? So even when I do get tested, I have no baseline to compare against. That's one of the main things I want to fix this year. So as you now can tell, I've decided to take my health seriously this year and to manage it the way I manage other areas of my life systemically. In this video, I walked you through why I decided to do so. And in the next one, I'll dive into the details, okay? Into my health insurance, how much I'm paying, and what preventative measures are covered. I'll go through what medical checkups I've done in the past 2 years, how much I spent on healthcare in the last 2 years, and as well what my concrete health plan for 2026 will look like with a budget attached. Hey, if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thanks a lot for watching and see you next time.